This is Chris Hansen.
Chad doing Rip City Radio here.
This is Jamie Hudson.
This is TJ Hooshmanzada.
And I'm going to let y'all know something.
You're listening to
It Just Makes Sense.
It Just Makes Sense.
We are sports. We are nostalgia. We are pop culture. And we're funny sometimes.
I think overall we're just a good time.
They thought we couldn't do it. But guess what?
We're back.
Podcasts are free, and we can do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
We never knew what we were doing in the first place.
Yeah, that is a good point.
So we know your build. You're a big guy. You're a unit.
Yeah.
So can I just...
I am a unit.
And I will also, to be, I guess, on the side of truth, not the side of Peter.
Who are these idiots?
I love and hate that at the same time. It made me cringe and smile. I don't know what to feel.
It's just weird to me, so I don't think I would.
I don't trust that.
I don't trust it.
We know these guys are going to come a lot. I mean, there's... Damn it. I was not expecting that.
Maybe it's time to grab a hold of your little step ladders and go ahead and climb out of my ass for a while.
This season is just going to be a ton of electricity, a lot of fireworks.
Eat your words. Eat your words, Peter.
If this is any indicator of how season 4 is going to be, then we're on the right
Best
track.
season yet.
Alligators?
I need to address the alligators in the room.
We're going to talk about nepotism. And then...
Hey,
This is okay. This is I'm gonna remove. I need to remove this. If you leave this podcast, it's gonna be over in about 9 minutes, which is about 7 minutes longer than things usually last for me.
Oh, gosh.
I'm moving this so you guys can see my. Doing a bang up job so far with all of your commentary.
I'm sorry, Peter.
You should see Peter when Jordan's a guest.
Yeah, you also need to know that anything that I say
Is media take.
is just don't take it personally. All right, it's not.
Honestly,
But people
I'm
do.
I'm an incredibly good sport.
Okay, good.
We're going to be fine.
Peter didn't talk about how much he loves fucking Justin, what's his name?
Bieber.
Bieber from the Chargers.
Justin Bieber from the
guy
Chargers.
sucks.
Give me that glass. I can put
Oh
myself
my
in there.
gosh.
guy sucks.
And you know the whole microphone deal. You're with a radio gal.
Dude, he runs his own podcast.
6
He
minutes.
knows what he's doing.
6 inches. You know you know what 6 inches
This
looks
is,
like.
It's not amateur hour, okay? We're going to be right here.
You know what 6 inches. There you go. There you go. It's kind of
He
like
probably technically knows what he's doing more than what I've
what
been
we've
doing
been
in the
doing.
last fucking 3 years.
you're heavy ass breathing into the microphone.
First of all, all of us breathe. So.
Yeah.
No one really knows. who's breathing.
Everybody
Can
breathes.
you give me levels up before we start? Am I good here? Am I good here? Am I good here?
Yeah, you're good in both.
Okay.
I'll adjust it as it goes.
Am I good here?
No, God.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
only
I was waiting
He's
for that.
taking advantage of the fact that I'm the only one with the.
I think I did it last week. It really
Yeah, it was so loud.
Dude, fuck Josh Allen.
Well,
Okay.
before we say fuck Josh Allen, we will say hello to Matthew Barker, who is now disrobing. Is that what you were doing?
I was thinking about it.
Get real comfortable
when
here on it.
When I get in a room like this, I just I want to take my clothes off.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of body heat probably you're
There's
feeling.
a lot of body
Yeah,
heat.
yeah.
This is a tiny couch. I don't think that I envision having 4 people on here. When Braxton was like, hey, do you think we could do a 4th? I was like, Remember, we're a big man certified podcast over here.
Get comfy.
Yeah.
We got a whole foot
good,
between us.
Okay, I can move over here. He's got that going on.
That's fine if
Feel
you
like
want to
my-
do
We're good. We're cozy.
Butt
We're
is hanging
comfy. We're
out.
great.
Yeah.
So Matt, who the hell are you? Why are you here?
Well, I'm Braxton's best friend.
Wow.
Best friend. And it's number 1 on the list of a lot of folks, but I'm number 1, and that's the best thing to me. But we're here for it's wedding week, boys.
It's wedding week.
It's wedding week.
Wedding
Spark up.
week.
Spark up. Wedding
Spark
week.
up.
You want what?
No.
Spark up.
Dude, I might at the end.
Say the word.
Lance up.
If you have a total of 3 good takes this podcast, I'll spark one.
I'll come up short.
Yeah. There's no way.
We're
It's
lucky if
never
I
happened.
get one.
It's
Just wait.
never happened.
Just wait till we get the locks of the week.
Oh God.
That's where we're gonna
Yeah,
go.
we might skip that part.
What a big week, because we've
Yeah.
got Braxton's wedding week. We have Juan Magoo, who is going to be entering a new career. Very
Yes.
exciting.
After
Well,
9 long years,
9 long years. he
going
is-
on to something new.
I'm not working at Wendy's.
After you saw that
Free
video
meal,
about
yeah.
how Wendy's
I'm
was
bringing back
legit when
Wendy's
they were
yellow.
Yeah.
9 long
yellow.
years after getting the 9 long inches. How does it feel?
They both hurt. They're both scary. But you get used to it.
We're proud of you, though. We're proud of you.
Yeah.
Very exciting. How are you feeling, Braxton, now days away?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling ready. I know that the tension will probably build as it grows closer.
Good tension. Good tension.
But good tension. But as of right now, I'm just like so pumped.
Can you show off the fresh cut?
I know.
Oh,
I was going
yeah.
to say the tension is really with me and you, because I am very upset with
The mullet is
the
gone.
mullet being gone.
I'm sorry. It will make a return someday.
Ladies, we're sorry.
But the mullet is gone.
What about the you didn't even are the Pitt Vipers ever going to make a
They'll come back out.
They'll come
I
back
might
out?
bring them to the wedding.
Oh.
Maybe an after wedding
That'd be nice.
special.
I have
That'd
your
be nice.
sunglasses, by the way. I'm pretty sure.
I was going to say
Mine?
Vit Pipers.
Good.
Fit Pipers?
You ever
Yeah,
get
because
your
that's
credit
what you're
card?
calling the fake
Yeah, I
Pit
did.
Vipers.
But yeah, I'm happy to have Matt here.
I
He's
did?
one of the guys standing. Now I now have 3 out of 4 of the men who are standing next to me when I get married, and I'm very proud and love all of them.
Hey, yeah,
Equally.
boys. How about that?
There we
huh?
were.
Dude, we made it.
Yeah.
We done made it.
It's too bad that you didn't get here a day earlier, so you could have just gotten absolutely tanked with us on a Sunday night.
I heard stories
getting our
about this. I'm
haircuts.
excited to hear a little bit more about it. What
is
happened?
just so I thought it would be really cool. We all
And it
generally
was really cool.
It was. Yes. Let's get that. It was an unforgettable night, unless of the stuff that we actually forgot. But I thought it would be cool, and it was cool, that we go to a barber, our barber, after hours. So just like shut the whole place down.
Shout out Culture.
Shout out Culture Barbershop. Shout out Jesus and Alex and Andre for cutting us up.
Yeah, did a
and
great job.
for force feeding us alcohol for 2 hours straight. Every time. So it was like we're all drinking beers. We're all thinking that's the vibe. Sunday night, we got to work. So I brought like an 18 rack of beer. Thought, oh, we're going to be fine. And then he starts lining up shots. And then he goes, you want another? Like immediately after we were done.
Of their alcohol.
Of
We
their
didn't even
alcohol.
touch what Peter brought.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think that we had like a total of 2 of the beers that were loose in a cooler. And so then they go, do you want another one? And I go, no. And then they just immediately start going again with another. So by the end of it, we were shots deep.
I don't know if you should say numbers, Pete. Go
Okay.
ahead and bleep that out.
No.
Go ahead and bleep that one out.
You overshare it.
But I mean, can we talk about like how much of a flex that is?
Yeah.
The week of a wedding for your best friend and to rent out one of the best barbershops in Portland. Culture is great. They cut the Timbers hair. They've been doing this for a long
Stand-up
time.
guys.
To rent that out private and have drinks with your boys while you
And
get cut up.
not even rent it out. Text the owner personally and say,
Yeah, that's a
"Do you
flex.
mind staying after your business hours and taking care of
The
the
dude
boys?"
was handing us the keys so we can keep fucking
No
drinking.
joke.
Yeah,
He
he
goes-
was like, "Do you want to lock up? You guys can stay and drink."
He was like, just bring the keys tomorrow. It'll be cool. Like,
We'll die.
That's
if you
an
want to keep drinking
incredible-
here, you can.
And
So-
honestly, I'm sure we all caught a little bit of flack from our significant others.
Sure
maybe, maybe not. But I told Jara, I apologized. I realized the position I put her in, but I would not take back that night.
yeah,
That
no
really,
regrets.
it honestly meant so much to me. I loved it.
That was pretty
So
cool.
Thank you.
No regrets at all. So now that we have that out of the way, it is time for me to address the allegations that are surfacing on the internet between myself
This
and
better-
a fan
this better be good.
at the Oregon game.
This better be good. I've been waiting.
So Braxton invited me to the Oregon-Hawaii game this past weekend. It was a late ad. We, both go down. He gets car sick, as one does. Nor here nor there, again on the overshare
As Braxton
side.
does.
Yeah.
So we get there at probably an hour 15 before kickoff. And so we start crushing beers out of the back of my car. We didn't even get to a tailgate because the lot that we wanted to go to was closed. So we were just like in the farthest spot, which turned out to be totally fine. But it was just he and I in the back of my car just taking shots
Slugging beers.
and drinking beers. We end up going to one of those like official tailgates where they go, a drink minimum, but you can get food or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up getting like this food. He wants 3 chicken skewers. They are 3 full thighs, like a pound each. They're
the fair?
Yes. And I'm thinking, because it was like 1 for $3, or like 1 for $4, 3 for $10. And I'm thinking like chicken skewers. Like everybody thinks of chicken
bite-sized
skewers.
chicken, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, 3. I'm sure Pete will have one. I'll slam 2, no problem. And it's a full like pound chicken thigh.
At some point, you
thick
had
ass.
a full bird.
Yes.
Well, he
With all 3 of those, that's full bird.
he pawned stuff off on a family. It
Yeah, I
was like
saw this
family
starving
style,
child.
Yeah, it was
No,
like
I'm just
family-style chicken.
Yeah, nothing like a sweaty guy saying, "Do you want the leftover chicken that I have?"
Yeah. It took
I
a
swear
chicken
I didn't
fingers,
lick it.
chicken
Here's
fingers
some
to the
thighs.
name. But they took it. It was delicious.
Yeah, they were
I
very
ate it.
appreciative.
Yeah.
Very appreciative.
So we get into the stadium. We get a beer. Beer line was good. It was right at kickoff. We have these spots that are under the overhang. They're very good seats. Shout out to Bill, who gave us those tickets. And it is section 35, row 57. The reason why I'm oversharing on this is just because I want to give you the context for the rows that were around
I'm
us.
familiar. I've been to Autzen.
We are in seats 3 and 4. When we are in seats 3 and 4, there is an old couple, 60s, in seats 1 and 2. The row ahead of us, 56, did not have seats 1 and 2 occupied at the time. So rather than inconveniencing this old couple, as the game has basically started at this point,
started.
It had started,
Yes.
yeah. So we're trying to quickly get out of the way as to not be a distraction. I have the beer in hand. I take a step up, and I catch the lip of the stair. And I basically fall into this 60-something-year-old woman.
God, you are clumsy as
Yeah.
shit.
Size 15 feet, by the
What's-
way.
what's
And I-
6'3".
That's a dick flex.
So we know your build. You're a big guy. You're a unit.
Yeah.
So can I
I am a unit.
just to paint the picture? What's the build of the lady?
She was small but not frail. She was not
Yes.
someone who would break if you touched
She
her.
was maxing out at 5'5".
5'5", 120,
130.
Not a good ratio.
She was small, but
was
not
small.
frail, and wasn't gonna absolutely break.
so
but-
Rashad White.
So I step up and I fall. I'm trying to catch. I would have caught like the stair in front, but she was right there. I couldn't avoid her. I
It was
put
her fault.
this amount of pressure right on her shoulder.
That's a
And
lot.
I want to stop the story right here.
Matt's face.
I want to stop the story right here because in this moment I am, let's say, southwest of Peter,
You guys are fucking losing.
Yeah,
You're losing.
and I can see this whole thing happening.
he's materializing in slow motion.
And I see her like fall on this woman, and I will also, to be, I guess, on the side of truth, not the side of Peter. I immediately thought when he fell on her, I was like, "Oh, that wasn't that bad," because I saw it happening, and I could see the possible absolute fatality that could have occurred, and it wasn't that bad from my view, but.
So as I kind of fall or brace myself, I didn't even fall. I brace myself on her. She looks at me and she goes, "Ugh, have another one, buddy."
Oh.
In such like the most venomous, over the top, like the fact that I had a beer was circumstantial. She did not know that I had beers out of that. This was not a drunken, induced situation.
Yeah.
This was a clumsy, I went too quick, I don't know the size of my feet in the space that we were in. situation. And I would have thought that someone who was also a Duck fan, I was wearing Duck gear, would have been understanding to that.
Why are you so
She was
angry?
not. No, I'm just mad. I'm being animated.
Well, no, but this happens though. Anytime you've ever been drinking in a situation where you weren't drunk yet, but made an accidental mistake, and then everyone's like, "Oh, cut him off." That
does suck.
To me, this is just like Duck fans.
Oh
You think
God,
it's just
of
Duck
course.
fan?
Here we
Of
go
course,
with the
yeah.
Duck hate.
Okay,
But
so
I
then-
will say it wasn't just have another. It was an oh my God.
It was.
It was like she had been.
clutching the pearls.
Yes.
And then what else did she
It
say?
was-
Because I had no idea that she also
Yes.
said this.
So Peter immediately scoots far away from her. I mean, it's one seat, but he was obviously taking 4 and I was taking 3. And so he gets into that seat, and as he's doing that, he's already mumbling, trying to explain himself under his breath
To the other person?
to the random dude named Jeff or something sitting next to him that we come to find
Jeff
out.
didn't give a fuck.
He did
Ken.
not give a fuck.
His
but
name was Ken.
Ken, and Peter was talking his ear off, trying to explain himself for no reason whatsoever.
Needed someone on my side.
But then because she was in seat number 2, and she gets up and she's like, "Get over here! I'm switching seats with you. I'm not sitting next to these losers."
Fucking losers or
Yeah.
whatever.
It was like that.
Easy, lady.
And
She
the
was
best,
very aggressive.
The best part of this story is after all the dust has settled, we have to sit next to each
I
other.
have to act so sober.
And
Like,
there-
oh, yeah, good job, Bo.
There
All
was
right.
there was a good probably 3 minutes of complete silence.
It was.
None of us got up and cheered, clapped a hand, go Ducks, nothing.
At some point, though, you got to hit him on the elbow and be like, "Sko Ducks." I mean, at some point, right? You
So-
gotta-
No, I literally did that. I'm just trying to make friends with the husband here because it's not going well
How
with
do
the
you
wife.
guys not fuck with them?
No, so then
I mean,
I would.
so the husband, you would think that maybe in that situation the husband would front on you, right? Didn't give a shit because he knows that his wife is probably an overreactor. He's
Yeah.
probably like,
That's
"Here
not
she
the
goes
first time.
again.
That's not the first time.
Here
that's
she
happened.
goes.
Would you
again."
agree that this is probably a moment where you could have used a Matty Ice or me, where we could look at we could nudge the husband and be like, "How have you not left her?
Yeah,
How are you still with
just
her?"
like what a miserable bitch,
What
huh?
a miserable life you have.
If you say that to the guy, he probably would have bought you a fucking beer. He probably would have bought you
They
a
did
drink.
later offer us popcorn.
Yeah, they did give us popcorn, but not to toot my own horn. I feel like I did a really,
tremendous wingman.
really good job about settling the differences.
Well-
I was mentioning my medical stuff to him. I'm getting married.
Yeah, he was talking
Like,
about
I was-
Bucky Irving gave him a signed
Yeah, I was like,
autograph
oh
for
yeah,
dying.
Bucky Irving,
Braxton-
35-yard run. I actually have a signed picture from him.
Buddy, it can't be worse than the time that we were tripping mushrooms in Austin Stadium.
Oh gosh.
It's a day game. We're playing UC Davis or something. And you're tripping so hard. He's leaning. Braxton's a big boy. I don't know if you guys can see it in the YouTube. Braxton's a big boy unit.
Of course I can see it.
Yeah, I don't know if you can
No,
see
but
it.
I don't know if it translates, is all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
With Miguel sitting here, you mean?
Everybody
was-
looks small next
Braxton was leaning on this guy for a half, tripping mushrooms like this.
Just a stranger?
Yes.
Oh, 100%. And then Braxton started to come to right around halftime because we knew we would go up and get some beers. And he's like, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry."
And the dude could not have
Finally
been more
acknowledged it.
chill. He was like, "Hey man, we've all been there."
to me. We've been there.
No,
Oh,
but Braxton
man.
was like,
For an entire
laying
half.
on him.
Yes, it was at least a quarter. At least a quarter.
Hilarious. The final thing of that, because finally they get up to go use the restroom. Braxton goes down and gets more beers. It was funny because Braxton finally goes 5 minutes in. He goes, "We're never gonna be able to get up from these seats, are we? We're never gonna get more beers now because of this." And it was probably
It took
true.
us a while.
It took us a while, and eventually we were crushing hot dogs and eating their popcorn. But I finally got to apologize to Diana, was her name. So, and I said, "Hey, I know we got off to on the wrong foot. I just lost my balance. I've got size 15 feet." I was very quickly trying to explain my situation, and she was like, "Thank you so much for apologizing. I accept your apology. It could have been." I was like, "Yeah, it could have just been a really awkward time for all of us." And she was like, "No, a deadly situation."
Braxton, when he explained it to me the first time, he used the words "brandished a weapon." Was the
Her reaction was
was
as if.
yeah.
as
Okay,
if
hold up. You apologize to this lady,
And she doubles back down.
and
on
she
me.
doubles down.
Yeah.
I'm taking
That's
back
when
that fucking
that's when you
apology.
just slap her across
I'm
the
taking
face.
back that apology,
That's a deadly situation.
and I'm tripping myself again.
Oh, for sure.
People's elbow her right in the fucking
You thought you
nose.
were gonna just like all of a sudden like roll 57 rows down? Like what the fuck, man?
You'd never know.
Oh my
You never
gosh.
know.
So
Pete.
those are the allegations that are out there. I thought that I had to address them. You know, assault, brandishing weapons, whatever they are. So
Well, we're
her.
past
Peter,
it.
will you just get it
And
together
this is
at
all
Ducks games?
alleged.
I thought you were a fan. You're
this
supposed
is
to
all
be
alleged.
Otson strong.
What is also alleged is that the Oregon Ducks are the college football fan base that consumes more pot than any other fan base, says a survey. Shocking news there.
In other
So-
news, water wet.
Is water wet? That's a whole other debate. So,
But yeah, I mean, this is not shocking at all.
yeah.
Oh, they smoke weed over fucking Watson?
Yeah.
In other not
Fuck them.
other not shocking news, a headline from Barstool Sports: a Buffalo Bills fan was found, quote, naked in a hole covered in human excrement near the Bills Stadium during the home opener on Sunday. I know no other context than that,
After
but I'll
how
just
Josh
leave it at
Allen
the
played,
exact
can
same-
you
Well, I
blame
mean,
him?
It might have been Josh Allen.
But speaking
He
of
played well week 2.
Yeah, I did.
speaking of Autzen Stadium, at your first game when you go to Autzen Stadium, you get a button that says "My first Ducks game." This is that version of this for the Buffalo Bills. Like this is probably his first Bills game. You have to get lost in a hole and get covered in excrement.
Yeah, you have to.
Isn't it
And
cl-
slam
covered
through a
in
table.
shit.
Isn't it slamming through a table?
Yeah.
No, this is like the secret second part.
Yeah. This is a secret menu.
Yeah, this is like the
Bills tailgate.
initiation after
Yeah.
that.
The
Yes.
secretion?
Yes, the secretion.
Got it.
Before we get into sports, and I wanted to bring up some Iowa football because that's what you do. This happened a couple of weeks ago with Cade McNamara. He caught himself saying the wrong thing, and he just giggled his way through it like he was a stoned fan at Oregon.
Is he related to Steve
I don't know. Is that like a person?
and Devin?
McNamara.
They're not ACC guys.
We're
No,
not,
no,
yeah.
no. Syracuse basketball guys.
Yeah, big
I
time.
don't know.
Cade McNamara was talking before, I think, his Week 2 game, or after his Week 2 game.
Good looking guy.
He's got the hair.
He looks like Matt Rife, the stand-up comedian.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
And also, you're built for college sports, D1 sports, when you have a name like Cade McNamara. Is that not a
You
like
better
a,
be
a
good at
college quarterback
It's
name?
You better
definitely
be good
an
at
Iowa
football.
quarterback.
You better be good at football
So
if that's your name.
here he is talking to the media.
I think, our level of communication up front and with me, the backs, and, really everyone just being on the same page because we know these guys are going to come a lot. I mean, there's. But, we have to be on key with our hots. We got to be on key with our protection. So, damn it. I was not expecting that. But yeah, we'll be.
He's done. He's done. Great job, buddy.
Yeah. So
That's
I
good.
thought that could not go untouched.
I loved
by-
every second of that.
by our podcast
Great interview.
specifically.
I thought that was solid. Yeah.
Whether or not it was relevant to us or not in the moment, it had to be addressed. Also, the Iowa Hawkeyes this past weekend have finally scored 25 points in a game. And the reason why that
Wow.
is significant is because their head coach, Brian Ferentz, has apparently lingo in his contract that if they don't average 25 points per game in the 2023 season, his contract can become null and void after this season.
What?
Damn.
Why?
That's extreme.
They're the best defensive team in the
So,
country.
so you
They're-
end up
they're
playing the
known for
number one
when-
team in the country.
Yeah.
You lose by 3 points, and it hurts your average for keeping your money.
Well, no, like you don't have to win by 25. You just have to score 25 points a
you
game.
win. You win 10-3.
Yeah, that hurts you.
Yeah.
That's
You
crazy.
have to score 25 points
That's
a game.
fucking dumb.
Well, this past weekend, they did finally score 25 points, and he has heard the media talking, and here's what he had to say in response to that.
You all have had fun with this 25-point obsession, and I get it. I do. But if I'm not mistaken, we just dropped 41 on Saturday. So maybe it's time to grab a hold of your little step ladders and go ahead and climb out of my ass for a while.
Oh! People's elbow on everybody.
Grab your little step ladders,
And
you
climb-
fucking dweebs.
Hold up. Was he
Climb.
talking about midgets?
I think he was. I think he was.
Yeah, because we don't need no step ladders here.
I love and hate that at the same time. It made me cringe and smile. I don't know what to feel.
Oh my gosh, this is so
all
good.
confused.
Dude, I'm
So anyway,
Love
a lot
that
of
for
great
him.
things
Love
happening
that
with
for
him. First
Iowa
of all,
football right now.
On a serious note, that's a shitty clause on your fucking contract.
It's very
why would
silly.
you ever
Yeah.
sign for that?
How many years have we been watching college football and we've known that Iowa have been an incredible defensive
Right,
team?
yeah.
They win games 17-3, 17-10.
They averaged 18
What is the
points last
what's
year.
the significance of a 25-point?
They want to see improvement
Offensive
on
scoring,
offense,
like,
I guess.
I don't
so,
know.
Yeah.
Would not sign. You left Benchcraft. Would you sign for that deal to another company?
Would you coach Iowa if you had to score 25 points a game?
I don't think I would.
No, he stays at Benchcraft, so it's good. It's good.
It's
just
not
stay
the logistics. It's just weird to me. So I don't think I would.
I don't trust that.
I don't trust it. There's something about it I
No,
don't
agree,
like.
I agree. Good call, Miguel.
We'll finally get into this last weekend's game with Colorado State being
What a
the
fucking game.
most streamed game ever, and let's see, I think it was the 5th most viewed college football game ever as well, but the most streamed game. Over 9 million people tuning in, and that game ends at 2:30 in the morning.
We have talked about Prime for like probably even at the end of last season over and over.
This is 2 years we've been talking about this guy.
Dude, whether you like the way he is or not, what he's doing for that program, what he's doing for the current conference that he's in before he goes to the next one is fucking commendable. That, like, the old lady that's the Colorado fan forever, the little things like the thing he does with his son, like the walking.
Yeah.
Like, someone addressed that today where they walk to the end zone and he's a dad.
Yeah, from
And
the 40 to the end zone before every
the
game.
walk back is he's a coach, and there was a very small thing that happened where Shador was walking outside of him and he moved him inside. It was like the dad instinct. I mean, you got it. I love him. I love what he's doing for
I do
Colorado.
too. And I feel like there's been 2 people on this podcast who have been pretty high on him the whole time. And I'm looking at him.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. I want to address something that Miguel
Spell
had said,
nepotism.
which is him being a content machine and a money making machine. He sells. There's the whole comment with him and the Colorado State head coach about the sunglasses and the hat. Then he decides to market it, and he gets the whole team those sunglasses. What are they called? The
Blender Eyewear.
Yeah,
That's the
those.
primes.
So he then sells $1 million in a day, $4.5 million of sunglasses since those comments have been made. Every weekend, now they just
We
announced.
have it, by the way.
Those are not it.
Those are it. Those are it.
Colorado just announced they have sold out every home game now this season, and every game. And they were talking about this. Coach Prime was talking about the impact on the Boulder economy, that they are taking in $16 to $20 million every weekend now for the Boulder economy. So that's a really cool thing for just that community, which, I mean, not like
And it's
the
also-
poorest community, but still.
It's delivering a proof of concept. And so there's going to be a lot of coaches in the Power 5 right now who their recruiting and their NIL money is going to be heavily dependent on their schedule. Deion Sanders in Colorado is not one of them. No matter what their schedule ends up to be this year, they're going to still get recruits, and they're still going to bring in money because he's shown what it takes to kind of – he's changed the game a little bit. I think Oregon wanted to do this when they hired Willie Taggart. I think that because Oregon, at least since the 2010 era, has been sort of the swag school. It's been the culture school. It's been, we're going to, make you feel good to be here. And I really feel like that's what Oregon wanted to do with Willie Taggart, and Deion Sanders is just showing the A+ of that. Like when it actually works, when everything clicks.
Yeah. They definitely have the swag factor for sure. And Oregon definitely was trying to, and they did have
Well,
that
and they
for a
still
while.
are. They're not a secondary thought here.
The thing, that's a great point, but they had it closer with Chip than they ever did with Willie.
But they just had a coach who was unwilling to accept the media,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I mean, like
yeah,
Deion and his embrace of the spotlight and the camera and the 60 minutes and then big noon kickoff.
You
and
had the
college
Rock
game day.
You had
and
the
all of
Rock
these things.
making fun of your opponent's head coach.
Yeah.
You had the Rock on College game day.
you had Lil Wayne walking you out. I mean, these things
but
have never been
but
seen.
they're gonna get, and we'll get to the game later. But eventually, I think this stretch that they have right here is going to be a very humbling stretch. I think for the Colorado program.
It is, but whether you're pro prime or anti prime, they're 3-0. It's already been. They've already exceeded expectations.
Yeah, it's
leading
already
up
worked.
to the season.
Yeah.
They were projected to win 2.
The proof of concept is there.
Yeah.
I thought that they could go 3-9 if things didn't go well for them.
When we started season 4, I said if they only won 1 game, it was enough for me to see how he's turned it around. Because what's to come in the future? They're 3-0.
Yeah.
They are 3-0. However, let's take a look at that Colorado State game. They were 23.5-point favorites. They were the most bet team to cover. It was a terrible weekend for a lot of college football bettors because 90% of people had them covering.
Yeah.
They struggled there. I understand that Travis Hunter gets hurt, and I understand that there was a lot of, dirty plays and everything to go along with it. But, I mean, Colorado State could have beat you in that game. And they're a bad team.
Right.
They're not a good team.
So if we're looking at Vegas having them as massive favorites, right?
24.5, right?
24.5 and 90-10 as far as betting money on them. Guess what? Alabama struggled that day. Georgia was losing 14-3 at fucking halftime, the number 1 team in the country. Texas was down to Wyoming at halftime. Everyone fucking struggled. To me, it shows more that they are overcoming adversity in the 3rd game of the season rather than blowing everybody out.
Yeah.
I think it only makes them better. I think it's going to make them competitive against Oregon. It's going to make them competitive against USC. Because if they're blowing everyone out and then you face a Oregon team that's clicking, a Caleb Williams team that's clicking, they're going to have trouble with it. But now they're facing adversity, and they overcame it in 2 fucking overtimes.
I just think that there's going to be a point, though, that Prime has to start to get to a level where he says, my message is so good, I have to save it for my team. Because there's a certain point when you're so good at delivering a message, your opponents will start to believe in it too. And that's what we saw with Colorado State. It's personal. And they took it personal. And they were playing a physical, hard football game.
Yeah, it was personal for them, too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the
That's what I
best.
mean, yeah.
That's the best game Colorado State will play in, probably for the last year and for the next year.
But the Colorado's offensive and defensive line is weak, and I think that Oregon is going to expose that.
Well, I mean, Shador was able to overcome a lot of adversity in that game, obviously without Travis Hunter. And, we were watching that game together. It was amazing to see how he was, chopping guys up and down the field. It was great.
Yeah. The control he had of that offense, especially in those dire straits.
Because they were getting penalties as well. They were they were getting false starts. Like everyone around him was crumbling, and he he was
the fourth quarter
overcame
drive,
that game.
2-point conversion, incredible.
Yeah.
To the 2 points that you made, what I like about that is, number one, if that message is being taken by the other team and you bring them to a level that you've never seen a Colorado State Rams football team get to before, and you win,
that's saying something.
so
100%.
that is going to be a great measuring stick for if you do that to Oregon and you fire them up the same way you're firing up your team and you're able to pull that off on a field goal or whatever, and you do it to a USC, you do it to anyone in the Pac-12 really, like after this schedule that they've had, that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
You bring them to the level that you're at and they're technically better than you, because you're right. Their line was getting absolutely manhandled by one guy, and then the guy got ejected. The guy got ejected, and all of a sudden Shador had all the time in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Because it was one guy penetrating through that fucking O-line all day, and they couldn't stop that receiver. Number 14.
But he's taking a lot of I think he's probably definitely taking double the sacks that any other Heisman candidate is. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's taking hits.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question about I guess it's kind of twofold with the Travis Hunter injury. Number one is, should there be a rule within targeting about that style of hit that Travis Hunter took?
I didn't think it was dirty.
I didn't really.
I thought it was a good, solid, legal hit.
I think that I get where you're going with this. I think the head, the crown of the head, to the chest plate, to the sternum, or to certain other parts of the body. I mean, it could be just as bad as getting hit in the head. I mean,
lacerated his liver. I mean, for one.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I think the fact
I didn't
that he
lacerate
was,
my liver at the bachelor party. I mean,
You and I both, brother.
I think the penalty that could have been called is leading with the crown of your helmet, and I think that you can argue that for sure.
I think on most plays, leading with the crown is probably not the best scenario.
Yeah,
But so I don't want to take away from how hard it is to officiate a football game or any sporting event for that matter. But the thing that's hard when you're going through the speed of the game that you can understand if you've played football at any level, he could be diving to do a legal hit, but that body moves at the very last second, which turns it into an illegal hit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same way that the punt return, with the guy, they're like, that's a low hit. No, it wasn't. He was diving for a tackle, and the guy jumped, which made it look like a low, below the belt illegal hit. It wasn't. Everything happens at a snap of a finger, and it's like he could rotate his body, and all of a sudden your crown is going into his fucking sternum, and then it's an illegal hit. It's a dirty hit.
Yeah, well, go into a full sprint. Any of us, we can try it here after the podcast.
Oh, no.
Go into a full sprint and try to keep your head behind your waist. It's almost impossible to run at full speed with your head behind the rest of your body. So, like, when you're going into these plays, leading with your head is a difficult thing to stop doing.
That's why I think it's so much easier to argue if you have, like, if you never played football. It's like, oh yeah, that's a dirty hit. Like the people with a really passionate, almost like one-sided thing about it is like, dude, you don't know like what could happen. Everything happens so fast.
Yeah.
There was a play in the BCS championship game between Florida and Oklahoma, and there was someone who had brought it back saying, since everybody's fired up about the Travis Hunter hit, here's a reminder of what college football used to look like.
Bradford, not a body within 10 yards, lofting down the sideline for Johnson, and he is leveled by Major Wright.
Absolutely,
he didn't even catch the ball.
No flag.
So,
This was Swamp Kings.
Yeah.
This was on Swamp Kings. And you know what that corner said, that safety? He goes, I saw the ball coming, and it was like the mentality in football back in the day compared to now. It's like, I don't want a touchdown. Back then, I wanted to punish people. Mm-hmm. He's like, I saw the ball coming, and I could have gone for the ball to pick it off, but I wanted him.
But
He's like, I fucking wanted him.
And you get celebrated for that like you would a touchdown in the locker room.
Yeah.
When you get back
look
in the
at the guys around him on the sideline.
That's like there's
They're
people that get more of a high with blocking a shot rather than like making a three or dunking the ball. It's the same feeling with some of these defensive guys. Like I want to take this guy out.
Yeah.
Like, it's more satisfying.
I want to make a play.
I'm curious about a potential. That's a big old moth. I'm curious about a potential penalty here because obviously we see it where NFL players will get hit with unnecessary roughness fines after games, right? They'll get like $11,000.
They go back and review the film,
right? So what happens? That is going to just be here, isn't it?
Not for long, not with me around. I guarantee you I'll smack that thing out of the air.
Mr.
The second it comes
Miyagi
over,
on it. Catch it.
I guarantee you I'll catch it.
Well,
Somebody give me some chopsticks.
We'll just let it be there for a while. I'm curious if we could see something like that in college football, but they fine the team rather than like the player itself. So then you're like still able to monetize that happening, but obviously you can't fine the player. But you could fine the team.
You can't find players making money from NIL.
Well, I just don't know if you could touch the NIL.
You get less Wingstop.
What about like a?
That's true.
I could see like a delayed suspension. Like, hey,
because if they get ejected for that, they get suspended for the first half of the next game.
Yeah, so like maybe doing like a 1/4 suspension. If we review the game, we find that this hit, you have a 1/4 suspension, maybe something like that.
I just kind of wonder if it would be more effective to like hit the pocketbooks of these guys and then just kind of go from there.
Or just
it's
advance
pennies,
the technology.
Apparently, but
or just understand that you're playing a violent sport and this comes with it.
Yeah, but it's almost the outside voices that are so concerned about that are pressuring these schools and these kids, and for good reason. I'm not trying to say that this is a bad thing, but I mean that's just the way that the game's going.
So do we think, final thing on Colorado, is Colorado good?
Yeah. Yes.
I think Colorado is incredibly decent. I think amongst Power 5 schools, I do not think that they're – I think next week will prove if I'm right or wrong. But I do not think Colorado lines up against Alabama, who even struggled against FSU last week. I don't think that they stack up against some of the blue blood programs. I think that we're going to see some exposing in the next 2 weeks. But I do think they'll continue to have a good rest of their season. The battle for the Pac-12 at the last end of the season, this is the last Pac-12 championship that's ever going to happen.
It's going to get nasty.
The back half of this schedule, with the best conference right now
so
ranked
fun.
in Power 5 football, is going to be insane. But I think they're going to get a reality check here in the next 2 weeks. I think they're very good. As a Hokie fan, I can tell you they're better than my team. But no, they're not. I don't think they're top 10. No way.
Yeah, and I think that they are good, but they're going to go. They're going to be 500 this year.
I think that's fair.
I agree. I don't think they line up against even a mediocre Alabama team, but I think they're good.
Right. We'll get into Alabama here in a second after we talk about the Oregon-Colorado game. Obviously, we're looking at anywhere between 19.5 to 21.5, I even saw, on the Oregon-Colorado game, and with the Ducks favored. Obviously, no Travis Hunter. I imagine that he would probably be, a 6-point difference? A 3-point difference? I don't know. Either way, he's not a 19-point difference. So the Vegas opening odds are saying that Oregon is going to absolutely trounce the Colorado Buffaloes this weekend. I wonder if you think that's fair.
I don't agree.
I don't think they're winning by that much. I do think that Oregon wins. But I think that it's going to be like a 7 to 10 point game.
Right now, let's see, 73% of the bets are on Colorado to cover.
And to be honest, that's where I'd put my money.
I think Colorado covers. I think Oregon wins, unfortunately. They're at home.
Yeah.
But I think Colorado covers.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a waking up for the kids at Colorado. And trust me, I've been to a lot of
Dude, why are you
Oregon
so
Ducks.
anti-prime? Just kidding.
I love Prime. I was just getting into. I believe my team sucks so bad this year. I've been on the Colorado train. I've been watching all the YouTube videos. They've been doing such a good job with that. I feel like I'm a part of the team. But they
You
are
want to
going
run through a brick
give 'em
wall.
a hell
for
No,
them?
seriously. The well-off media, if you guys are if you like college football, check him out. Bucky Sanders, his YouTube channel is great. But they're going to get exposed this weekend. And I think it's going to be 3 touchdowns or more. Easy.
Would you take? Do you want to try and put money in on this?
How much?
Matt, wedding bet?
A wedding
We're
bet. I mean,
standing
it's
up there.
not. Oh, there he is, bringing out the cat.
yeah.
That's not what we have
his-
after our
Work
loss.
bench
of-
Get the fuck out of here.
I just
His
sold an ad. I just saw.
620s.
I hit a 4 slap.
That's a quad to a roofer, huh?
No, but I'm willing to put money because I believe in the Ducks too. I'm a Ducks fan as well. I believe in the Ducks this week. I think it's personal. And I think the Ducks are going to come out and show. Bo Nix, I think, doesn't like the Shedeur Sanders talk. I think he might have a game.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude, Bo Nix is 35 years old with 5 kids, and he's still in college.
and he's still dropping dimes.
He's still Heisman watch list. All right.
So the smallest here is 17.5.
What do you want, Matt? What's our point spread?
I'll give you.
He said 3 touchdowns. Do 19. 19 and a half.
No, 3 touchdowns. We'll do 19 and a half. Yeah.
19 and a half.
So you're taking Oregon minus 19.5.
Yes.
What's the amount?
We'll do 50.
Wedding bet. Woo!
Let's go. And honestly, we have to bring this up. Braxton scheduled his wedding.
Yeah,
in the
what
middle
the
of this game.
fuck, dude.
I mean,
honestly, I remember when we were – because here's the thing. We had not decided on a date, and we went to the venue, and they asked us, do you have a date? We'll send you a bill associated with – or like a quote associated with that date.
Sure.
And we said, no, we don't have a date. Just choose whatever date you want, as long as it's a Saturday.
I thought you had more involvement in
And
this.
she chose September 23rd.
Did you maybe have the option for last week or for this past
Yes,
weekend?
we definitely did at the time. She was like literally you can choose any weekend in September, and I was like, oh, whichever one.
Normally, Oregon, Colorado would be.
I know we
fine.
just made a bet, but we have to be rooting for Oregon to be up by a certain amount of touchdowns. So by the time he hits the altar, he doesn't even have to worry about it.
Yeah,
anymore.
you gotta
Game
root
over.
for that.
I want to walk up there and whisper,
If
Colorado's
you whisper
winning.
fucking anything to me,
Colorado's
I will
winning.
be so pissed.
I believe, but I'm telling you, I believe that Oregon's going to win.
Yeah.
I'm handing Brigham a Colorado Buffs hat.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like when it's like you may now catch the bride to go Buffs.
No.
Well, isn't Brig a big Tom Brady guy?
He is.
And Shedeur Sanders is
Tom Brady mode.
the signs. Shout out to Jersey Jerry, but the signs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
It's on the ledge, baby.
It's on the
It's
ledge.
on the ledge. All right. I believe in Oregon this week.
Nice. Braxton's not putting up any money.
I didn't think
I-
you were a Duck. You were a Duck fan?
Oh god.
So
You know, who
He's back to
I've
hating
been
you
to,
now.
I've been to more Duck games with Matthew than I have with anybody else.
So
It's probably because he likes you guys are friends, but I didn't know.
Well,
you
no.
were
So
a
I'm a
Duck-
Virginia
We're
Tech
friends,
fan.
and I've never been to one with you.
I can't go there.
Okay.
Can't go there.
I'm a Virginia Tech fan.
A woman will tell you, have another one, buddy.
And so I moved to Oregon, and I missed college football. When you grow up in Blacksburg, college football is it's the most important thing. It drives our economy. Some kids couldn't get their school clothes if their team wasn't doing well because ticket sales and growing up in a college town is just more important. And I missed that a lot. And I found that home there in Eugene where it felt a lot like Blacksburg. It felt like a good college school. It's a small program from an unassuming state. They come out and they're loud and
Not
proud about
Oregon
it.
State.
I'm a Duck fan.
Autzen
100%.
is no Enter the Sandman. How dare you?
No, the Harley, the motorcycle ride-in, I got to say, is not the coolest thing in the world. But on third down, the Stanford game, tragically lost.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that Stanford game,
That 20-17
I've
game.
yeah. So
Overtime.
Enter Sandman will hit the Richter scale. Lane Stadium gets very loud. I've never been at a college football stadium that was as loud as that game. Well, I left my ears were ringing for a day out of Autzen in that Stanford environment. Also, one of the first colleges to go not dry. A lot of colleges were really dry for a while. Oregon was one of the first schools that opened up the practice facility to where you could go get beers at a game.
Sure.
It's a great place to be.
The ACC was dry for a long time.
I wonder if you guys think that this is also a good tradition. It's something that I don't know if it's like a constant tradition or not, but it caught my attention. It was the West Virginia versus Pitt game.
Great.
And they were singing Sweet Caroline.
Is this in Morgantown?
This was in Morgantown.
Fuck Morgantown.
And here are the fans.
As they're doing that, people were losing teeth in fucking Morgantown.
No, they throw batteries in Morgantown. That's something a lot of people don't know. They throw batteries.
Top 5 easy college football tradition is Enter the Sandman is
Virginia Tech is on the top there.
what like it's up there.
So we're anti-eat shit Pitt. All
Fuck
right.
West Virginia.
Well, I don't like West Virginia at all. As a Virginia Tech fan, I just said that, Peter. I hate West
he
Virginia
pulls your rival.
with a
Literally never
passion.
listening.
We have a trophy for the game. It's a Black Diamond trophy, but I do like the energy though in Morgantown. It's one of the coolest college towns ever. But Sweet Caroline, not a sports song.
It's
Reaching
not.
out, touching me, touching you. I think the Blues, the hockey team, the St. Louis Blues, that's their song, the Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, and Boston, right?
Yeah, I
Either
think
way.
so.
Is that a sports song, boys?
It's not.
I mean,
no.
it's not a sports song, but it is
It's
very
chanty.
often
Ba, ba, ba.
associated with sports.
It's like white
There's
frat
not a lot
boys
of-
in the bar catchy.
I think it's just like
Just getting
like chicken
friendly
fry.
with your friends, you know, like you're all drunk and you're.
I would sing
It's
Sweet
just
Caroline
a
with
song
you.
that all white
absolutely.
people know.
It
That's
is
it
the
is.
widest song maybe ever.
Yes.
I'm making sure that Sweet Caroline's at your wedding.
No,
I'm
I-
slipping
I-
money.
I specifically.
Or were
put
you
it on
anti-Sweet
the
Caroline?
no playlist.
No, right when you say I do, all the groomsmen go ba ba ba.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Touching
man. I'm
me.
not
Yeah.
participating in that.
Thank you.
I fucking hate that
Touching
song.
you.
I think as a podcast, and I know I'm just a guest here, but I think we could just go and call it "Sweet Caroline" is not a sports song.
No.
It's not.
I'll
It's
agree.
not.
I am
completely agree.
very much.
I
It is a
completely-
sports song, but that I will be.
That's a media take. That's a.
Every time.
If I've heard
Every
of a
time.
fucking media,
He doesn't.
just
He doesn't
can't
want to piss
escape
off the
it.
record label.
Just can't
Yeah.
escape it. Right before we get into pro football, a couple other things. Is Alabama? What is going on? What's going on with Alabama? They struggle in South Florida, and I'm just kind of wondering. I think we talked about it a little bit last week about whether or not this is possibly the beginning of the end, how they're going to figure out the quarterback situation, and what's going on there.
Would you like the answer to this?
Yes, please.
Let me tell you the answer to this.
Give it to me.
Before NIL, everybody went to Alabama.
Correct.
No one could match up what Saban has to offer. We have rings. We'll be in the fucking playoffs every fucking year.
And you'll go to the
Five-star
NFL.
running backs from Texas, speedy guys from Florida, fucking Arizona, Chandler High School. They're getting them all. Guess what? NIL has changed everything.
And he's not
Those guys are
competing with
going
it.
to fucking Austin to go to Texas. They're going to Florida State.
They're going to Jackson
They're going
State.
to USC. They're going to HBCU. They don't have them anymore. Watch that game last week against South Florida. Alabama's never you can't name the last 10 quarterbacks for Alabama because they've had AJ McCarron and all these guys, but they've always had a running back that you can't fucking stop. Yeah. A Derrick Henry, a Mark Ingram, can't stop these guys. They've had fucking the all-star lineup of wide receivers that were all destined to play in the NFL. Name their fucking receiver today. It's a 4-star guy out of the Midwest that it decided not to go to a Big Ten school. He's not that great. They don't have a running back you can rely on. They are for an Alabama team, they're mediocre. They're still going to run through fucking teams that are not blue bloods. But they're not the same.
Yeah.
And
They're
they're
not the
boring.
same.
They're
Yeah.
boring. And they're not exciting.
It's an absolute fact, and this I hate to, in every sports show, and I'm gonna do it, and it goes back to the
Join the hot take machine.
It goes into the Deion factor, where he's showing you what it's going to take to work in this NIL environment, and Dabo Swinney's really struggling with this right now. Nick Saban's really struggling with this right now, where traditional powerhouse teams, they're just a little milquetoast. The coaches, they just don't have it.
Well,
and it's also a matter of where, as a 20-year-old kid, where would you rather have money at? You're making NIL money.
Yeah.
Where would I rather have money at? Do I want money in
Tuscaloosa?
Tuscaloosa? I think Miami could have a resurgence through all this because where do you want to have money at?
L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
As
great
a Virginia
point.
Tech fan, you don't want to have money in Blacksburg.
Well, and
Who cares?
and those coaches you mentioned, I think that their coaching style is like, what can you do for me?
Yeah.
Whereas Deion and how a lot of coaches who are going to have success in this new era need to be, this is what I'm going to do for you.
Yeah.
If you buy in, this is what I can give
Your media team is going to be more important than your strength and conditioning team. College football is going to change.
you.
And
I think it's going to be fun.
Nick Saban's. I think if I'm him, I'm just giving a salute at the end of the season. I'm going home.
Yeah, because he can still go out as
He's
a king.
he's the one
Yeah.
exception. He's made it.
Yeah.
He's made it. You
Yeah.
can bounce and you've made it. You're good to go.
He's Hall of Fame.
He's the
Guaranteed.
one exception. But this is no different than the one and done rule in college basketball. You either get on board or you fight it.
Yeah.
You either get on board with NIL or you fight it. People that have gotten on board with one and dones have gotten championships out of it. If you get on board with this like Sanders is doing, you can see success. Clemson, to your point, he doesn't know what to fucking do.
But Dabo's a cornball.
Dabo is fucking.
He doesn't know what to latch on to.
He has no idea what the fuck is happening right now.
Yeah.
Does any
a
other
dynamic coach? and a
does
good
any other
place.
Power 5 head coach? I think Nick Saban might be the only one right now who has a statue while still coaching. Nick Saban has a statue outside of the stadium, and he's still coaching. Does anybody else have
there's
one?
not any like old coaches like that.
See,
anymore.
just tip your cap.
Just get
just get out.
Yeah.
You're on top. You're still gonna get all this money. You're already doing the media stuff. So just do the media stuff.
Yeah.
But he can cash $12 million every year. and be just fine. And these guys don't know anything else. I mean, it's tough to make that switch when you are that competitive of a guy, when you have that much pride.
Here's what I'll say, though. If he doesn't bow out and he doesn't call it quits and Saban gets on board, you better watch the fuck out. If Saban gets on board with NIL and learns, and it's game over.
When he starts doing TikTok
I was
dances.
just going to
It's
say.
game over.
Sorry, I
just
took that
going to
away.
say. When Saban starts doing TikTok dances with recruits, you know it's over.
It's game over.
Yeah,
You know
I mean,
it's over.
It's got to be better than what Brian Kelly
But
did.
it's
got to be better than
It
what
is
Brian
interesting on this last note here. I know we're going to move on to pro, but it is super interesting to see the old guard of college football. I would say for most of us in the last decade, the mantra has sort of been like tight-lipped, coach who doesn't give much to the media, kind of is stern with it, and you kind of keep everything behind closed doors. I think that era of college football is going to be over now. Like, it's almost like Deion Sanders. You have to show your cards. Everything's on the table. I'm all in. And that era that they're in, the kids, they want to show out. They want to show off. They want their Instagram follows to go up. They care more about that than the reps they're taking in practice.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of them care more about that exposure more than they do like the NIL money.
This is their, and this is their possible pro career, right? This is their one shot to get money. And whether or not they think that they can make it at an Alabama where they're going to be third string and they have 1 year to figure it out, they could go somewhere else, be that guy, get all that money, get that bag, and who knows, maybe you are pro, you have that pro opportunity.
And as much as you can
probably not.
As much as you can decide to make the switch as an old school traditional football coach like a Saban or Brian Kelly or whatever, you still have to be relatable. And
which is tough for these guys.
And the generational gap between the kids you're recruiting and you as a 50, 60, 70-year-old, they need to be able to see that they can relate to you. That's why Deion Sanders is doing well. Because they can relate to him as a former athlete. Not just as a former athlete, probably one of the two best athletes in the history of sports.
One of the greatest athletes ever.
Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders, top two.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you are incredible at two sports is insane.
Super Bowl and World Series.
In
That's
1
all
year.
you gotta say.
In 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts.
But if you're like a Brian Kelly where it looks like you're trying, but it's awkward and it's cringy, it's hard to it's hard to get on board.
I think some of those coaches should start taking a page from Mike McDaniel at Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Because he is an odd, like, not so eccentric, like he's a kind of a nerd.
Yeah.
But he just sort of owns it.
Funny.
He's funny.
But he owns that he's like a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Own your your
like
thing.
that. If I'm a college coach right now and I'm not obviously Deion Sanders and nobody is, right? I'm thinking that Mike McDaniel playbook.
Yeah,
and just
or
be
hiring
relatable
a
with your
staff
team.
around you
Yeah.
who can be those guys.
The
Like
greatest-
even if you're an X and O's guys, you're kind of a nerd, all you care about is football, then hire a staff who can relate.
The greatest comparison is Mike McDaniels looks like his dad left him to run the business.
Oh no!
It's so true, but it's so funny.
I love Mike.
And he knows
McDaniel.
what he's doing. Like, it's not like he's just going through the motions. Like, they're doing well.
Yeah, they're good.
These nerdy college coaches got to take from that playbook, or they're gonna be left.
Yeah. Final thing before we get into pros, I think I already said that, but want to give a shout out. Portland State University this past weekend, 91-0.
After getting boathoused by Oregon, what a response!
It went 81-0 to 91-0. Was that the?
It was 81-7.
81-7 to 91-0.
My only question from that game, where is North American High or
I know the answer
college.
to this. I
Beaverton.
did look it up.
where is North American College?
North American University College, whatever it is, where is it?
North America, I
Do
see.
you know? Did you look it up?
No.
I looked
Okay,
it
let's
up.
all guess and then look it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Maine. Just guess a state.
North America.
I'm gonna say Maine.
I'm gonna go. I don't know why. I'm gonna say Idaho.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw a curveball and say Canada.
You're North American University is located in Stafford, Texas.
That makes
in your backyard.
That makes a lot of sense, actually, because you'd want to extra make it known that you're North American and not that close to Mexico.
You're a Texas college team and you get boathoused by Portland State?
Dude, but Portland State's kind of nasty, dude, honestly. For
Texas football, man.
Outside of Galveston.
But you say Texas football, and Texas high school football is very serious. I lived next to the reigning state champions for years and years and years in Katy. But it doesn't translate to their college ball.
Yeah, I don't think North American is getting a lot of recruits.
It doesn't. Their high school programs do not translate to their colleges.
I tell you what, Portland State's not fucking boat racing Permian Panthers in Odessa.
No,
that ain't happening.
Not with Booby Miles.
That ain't happening.
Ain't no way.
She's your mother too, you know.
Edie and Leah.
Dude, where's Billy Bob Thornton when you need him?
Mock Winchell.
Dude, Billy Bob.
In the NFL, our locks of the week, for those of you who followed it, we went
0-3.
0-3 in our locks of the week. We had Braxton with the Chargers. They lose in overtime, 3-point favorites. Miguel had who?
First of all, the Giants won by 3. I just needed them to cover minus 5.5. I didn't watch that game, but apparently they were down 20-0.
They were down 20-0. They had been outscored 60-0 to start
but
the season.
Saquon had to go off and then get injured.
Yeah.
Who I have in 2 out of my 3 fantasy leagues. Great news.
This is how you know that the NFL is absolutely scripted and rigged, because I had an anytime touchdown for Saquon and over 72.5 yards. He gets injured with a minute to go on the 20-yard line at 65 yards. He would have gotten that 72. Whatever, I lose $30. But the other one, which is more egregious, and it is my lock of the week, and it is what happened in L.A. between the 49ers and the Rams with time expiring down 10.
Sean McVay knew. Send a letter to him.
Down 10.
He knew what he was doing.
The Rams kick a meaningless field goal with the line at 7.5 points. And today he says, I hear a lot of people are angry at me. Screw you. You knew exactly. What do? Every time in that situation in a meaningless, you go for the end zone. It doesn't fucking matter. You always throw for the end zone.
Peter, you missed the part that Sean McVay gets a bonus for scoring 23 points.
Oh, my God.
Every game.
He has to score a minimum of 25. He's trying to keep that average going.
Yeah.
It was absurd. I'm watching this, and I'm going, okay, I can't be the heel of this, or we can't all have lost our locks of the week. And then they kick that field goal. I was losing my goddamn mind. What are you doing?
But, I mean, can we spend some time on that?
Absolutely.
What happened to make you make that call, unless there's some sort of stipulation we don't know about in the contract? There would be you have to score a certain amount of points, or
you knew.
What? How?
You knew.
Why would you kick the field goal there? What's the point? You'd rather take no points.
He
than
wanted
a
to
field goal.
fuck with people. I mean, betting is such a huge part of the game now that
there's no way they don't know.
Yeah, they're aware.
There's no way they
Sean
don't
McVay
know.
going, we lost this game. How it's like misery loves
we
company.
covered it.
Yeah, how
So
can we
he just
fuck
knew
with
the
people?
spread and was like, yeah, whatever.
Someone relayed it, or they do it ahead.
I'm willing to hear other theories, but from my point of view, it's hard to deny. Why else? What is the point?
Yeah, he wanted to fuck with people. He knew the spread.
In every situation, when you know that it's meaning, you always go for the end zone.
You'd rather take 0 points.
Yeah.
For
you
sure.
lost.
You lost.
Yeah, and try.
Yeah.
Because who knows what could happen.
Yeah. So, I just love how these guys play dumb all the time. And
I don't agree with any of you guys. He wanted to build the confidence of his kicker.
Yeah, true.
Well, special teams is important.
It is.
Of course. Not to dwell on it too much, but Aaron Rodgers gave an update, said he had an innovative Achilles surgery, was saying that maybe he could come back this season. Bullshit. And that the sound of mating dolphins is apparently good for the healing of the body.
It's good
Thoughts?
for the healing.
Yeah. Good point.
I think that Aaron Rodgers is out of his mind for most of the time, but I also believe that this is going to be one of the biggest finesses ever. In his contract, how much is guaranteed, even if he doesn't play? Could he retire? and take a huge bag from the Jets and just have run out the flag on the spotlight and just never play again, sail off into the sunset?
He's going to play.
He'll
yeah,
play.
Yeah,
again.
he
he
seems
already
to
did
want it.
He already
does
did this
seem to want it.
darkness before the dawn. I want people to doubt me sort of thing on the Pat McAfee show. He's absolutely
he went
back.
in on the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
He was calling everybody bums.
Yeah, he was calling bum.
He was like Keith Olbermann. Like,
Take
he called
another
him out.
booster, bitch.
Yeah. No, he went in on the Pat McAfee show.
Bum. It was pretty funny to watch him just like clown on people while he was like high off of pain meds, probably.
He'll come back.
I
They'll
wonder-
make the playoffs.
It's the most Jets thing ever to happen, though.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that Aaron Rodgers is like a anti like pain meds guy, or you think he's like a super pain meds guy?
You got to be a super pain
Yeah.
meds guy
If
if you're in the
you're
NFL.
him.
that dude loves hallucinating.
Well, I mean, they get it's just different. It's not like if I were to twist my knee and I get some pain pills and I'm out of. He's getting super high-powered IVs.
he's getting Toradol.
Crazy potions like
Toradol.
mixed up. Like,
Toradol, the fucking giant
Yeah.
ass fucking
Crazy
horse pill.
potions.
yeah. No, I'm serious. Crazy potions. I mean, this thing is smoking when they put it up there. They pulled it out of the cauldron.
They threw some eye of Newt in there.
Shit.
Feather of eagle.
Yeah.
Eye of Newt.
Well, the Jets did not look so good this past weekend. They failed to run the ball. Breece Hall was going off on the Instagrams or on the Twitters, basically saying we're not going to win it if you only give me 4 carries. They just kind of went against exactly what I thought their game plan was going to be, which was to figure out how to run the ball. Obviously, you were playing a good Cowboys defense, but that was not exactly how I thought they were going to respond.
But didn't Zach Wilson lose the locker room?
Yeah, but it sounded
Last
like
year, yeah.
but it sounded
So,
like
they're kinda
Aaron
like, fuck
Rodgers
you,
was
like-
ushering him back in a little bit.
Trying to help with that a little
Trying to
bit.
help
They
with
might
that.
have just been like kind of a fuck you game. Like,
Well, and it was kind of
Maybe.
like I said after this had happened. I think that you'll see with the Jets, unfortunately, is that people that such high belief factor that everybody had, it was all really Aaron Rodgers was the cornerstone of that. And once you lose the cornerstone, everything else kind of crumbles, no matter how slowly it happens or quickly. You're going to see all these other players around him, and even the coaches, inevitably, that will kind of stop giving all that they had and not preparing as much or not, going 100% on every play. And you're going to see the dwindling of this team throughout the season, I think.
I mean, they've already got a really tough schedule
Yeah,
anyways.
super
so,
tough.
It was going to be a challenge even with Aaron Rodgers. But
Go Jets. They'll make the playoffs.
do you guys want to talk Nick Chubb or the Chargers next?
Get over the depressing story first.
Nick Chubb, who had that injury in Monday Night Football, his injured knee had become re-injured in a very gruesome way. It was not shown. A replay was not shown on the initial broadcast, but I think it was on the Manning cast they replayed it. So it did still make the replay. Still didn't make it out onto the
It was
internet.
a straight up an L, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean that
it
thing
was-
just went. It was destroyed.
It
It was
was-
immediate.
It sucks to see with anyone, but especially for somebody like Nick Chubb. Like, the guy just does the right things. And this was poised to be the biggest year for him.
it's not like a Kareem Hunt or someone who's had like troublesome
Yeah,
past.
it's like, yeah, it sucks,
he's
whatever,
a
but-
wholesome guy.
And I think playing for a team like the Browns and being kind of that guy who's always been the one guy that the Browns have had consistently,
You could rely on.
and a guy who sticks with a bad team as much as I hate
It's like
to
him
say
and
it.
Myles Garrett on different
Yeah,
sides of the ball.
exactly. And it's like you have a lot of respect for them because they do well, even though it's in a sometimes shitty situation. They are loyal, they work hard, and they get the fucking job done. And to see something like that, especially because he's like right on the cusp of that age, that he's not going to play again. And especially like Miguel was saying, you could argue all sorts of different ways till you're blue in the face that this was going to be Nick Chubb's year. He had the offensive line. He got the quarterback. He had all the weapons around him for him to truly excel.
Yeah, he was going to be an anchor to that offense.
Yes.
I
He's
mean,
not
Exactly.
sharing the backfield with
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt. It
Yeah.
was just him. Decent Deshaun Watson, decent receivers, and good defense.
Yeah,
and
it's-
see this happen.
It's so sad.
The demoralization of the team afterwards was also pretty embarrassing to watch. I
Yeah.
know even for you, I was there with you on Monday Night Football. We're watching this, and some of those like tip pass plays that were crazy.
Your quarterback
Just
has
sloppy
2
ball.
face mask penalties.
Yeah, well, I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Jets. The same concept that I'm talking about with them and Aaron Rodgers, I think you could argue is similar to with Nick Chubb. He was the cornerstone of that team. He was the face of that team, and I think that it's going to affect the way they play moving forward.
It was the color rush. It was the neon white.
Yeah. Those uniforms were sick.
They were pretty cool.
No denying
Yeah,
that.
too bad Deshaun Watson did not rise to the occasion.
Yeah,
he
he did
looked
not.
so bad.
No, he looked like he was like 12 years old. The way he's reacting to stuff, and it's like, dude,
You see-
act like you fucking been.
Do you
here.
see that people are accusing him of making a burner account after the game? Just basically
gosh.
like defending himself, but just like in such an egregious
I'm
way.
honestly, but I'm a big fan of any celebrity who has a burner account and actively uses it.
Yeah.
I
Well, no, this
want
one was
more.
like an X account
Kevin
or a
Durant,
Twitter
number
account
one.
that literally started September 2023 called @FreeWatson, and it was just all of a sudden defending Deshaun Watson
Yeah.
and
Dude,
all
be a
of
little
these.
bit more discreet, dude.
It was articles about how
User-
hand jobs aren't that bad.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you need
That
to
was
get
the
back to
first
that.
tweet.
It's the link. That's the bio. That's the bio. Okay, so I do want you guys to put your media hat on for just. I will
Never.
go down this road with me
I
real
only
quick.
brought this one.
Obviously, Nick Chubb, the injury was not shown on the original broadcast. They said they weren't going to show it. They've had a tendency to not show these types of gruesome injuries on replays. I am curious, one, if you're okay with that, or if you do think that it is newsworthy enough to see the replay. So I'm going to start there. Do you think that they should have shown the replay?
I don't mind that they don't. I don't mind that. The kids are watching. You know?
I think there's more flack you could get if you show it versus not showing it.
Agreed.
So I would err on the side of not showing it.
I don't hate it as much. The most gruesome injuries I've ever seen, honestly, on replays were in NBA games. Compound fractures, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Worse than UFC. I don't think it gets shown that much in the NFL. I don't think it's ever really necessary. But it doesn't happen that much in the NFL. They don't really do that.
Yeah.
The NBA is way worse about showing.
There's nothing worse than the Kevin Ware is his name, right?
Louisville
Louisville
was bad.
Duke game.
That
Elite
was-
Eight.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was-
Remember? The compound fracture.
The
right?
arm,
Yeah,
yeah.
Because the white bone was sticking
Yeah.
out.
Sticking
that
out.
And-
was.
And within 15 seconds, all Louisville players were crying.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I knew Duke was going to lose.
Yeah.
I was like, these guys have so much fuel.
Yeah, because at that
It's-
age, when you start crying, it's over. Another gruesome one was when Tony Finau at the par 3 tournament at the Masters,
Oh,
when he
yes.
dislocated his ankle,
that
and
was bad.
I mean, they were zooming in,
Yeah.
showing the
That's,
palm.
you could argue that was one of the wildest. That was golf.
Yeah.
That is not a
He
contact
was just
sport.
hopping around.
That
Yeah.
was wild.
But also, act like you've been there. It's the
Yeah.
par 3.
The most.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Paul George, USA Basketball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That was fucking gruesome.
yeah.
Do you want them to show it?
So this is where I want to bring this up.
He does on them.
No.
You
Hold on,
sick
hold on,
fuck.
hold on. So another
Fucking
one that we
skip.
didn't talk about was the Jusuf Nurkic injury. The Jusuf Nurkic compound fracture that he had.
That was crazy.
Where it was really at the time, I was working for a regional sports network. I was managing the highlights on Twitter for them.
Yeah.
For the regional sports network. It's on our air. And that injury happens. The broadcast shows the injury multiple times. Multiple times they showed him. They showed the compound fracture. I thought in that split second battled against the newsworthiness versus the humanity of it. Because, yes, you have to factor in the side of the people who love and care for this person and the thought that that injury is going to go out onto social media. I put it out there. I had a quick discussion with people internally. We put it out there. We got immediately eviscerated for it, for putting it out there. But in my defense, I was thinking, okay, like if it would, like the broadcast actually showed it. And then after the fact, the broadcast team got mad at us for putting it out there. And my defense back to them was like, if you're so mad at me for putting it on Twitter, why did you replay it in the first place?
Yeah.
You kind of made that editorial decision for me.
Yeah.
And in a media industry where you talk about having the TV rights, having the rights to this and being first to it, which we would have been, that was also a factor. And so, that's a number of the things that you weigh in that moment. Do I regret putting it out there? I wouldn't say that I regret it, but it definitely taught me a good number of things about that type of an instance.
What do you think about, so we've talked about it from the viewer's perspective, and now it's got my gears turning a little bit on player perspective. Like, if you're a hard competing guy and you have to go down and out and you're out for weeks, do you kind of want them to show the injury? Like, this is why I'm out. Yeah, I'm a dog. Do you see what I just went through and what I rehab from? Do you kind of want people to know,
question.
like, what you went through? Like, if Nick Chubb makes it back, don't you think he wants the replay out there to say, this is what I came back from?
I think you could argue that. I do think that because, these guys are, ultimate competitors. That's why they're at the level that they're at. I'm sure even for their own fuel, they, at some times want to see those moments to be like, okay, I can make it back from
What
this or
about
whatever.
the other side of that? If Nick Chubb never plays again, is this what I want to be remembered for?
Well,
Yeah.
it lets everybody know
This is the
you didn't
reason
just
I can't
bitch out.
play. And
Like,
yeah,
something happened.
I don't think anybody would argue that with
Yeah.
Nick Chubb. Obviously, he's been like,
But, NFL players and divas are like, Dak will go down for an injured thumb. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'm out for weeks for an injured thumb. We don't see the replay on the dislocated thumb.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, if I'm going to be out for weeks, I want you to show that compound fracture.
And also, if we're talking about a world-class golfer like Finau, a top NBA player in Paul George, top college basketball player, and Nick Chubb, who gives a fuck about Nurkic? He hasn't done goddamn shit. Stay
That
down.
was a nasty.
It was
the
gross.
only other, like, the nastiest compound fracture I think I've ever seen on TV. The Nurkic one was really bad. Conor McGregor when he
oh yeah,
when
yeah.
his
His
shin
leg,
split in half on
Oh,
Dustin Poirier.
yeah.
That one was really
that
nasty.
was.
Gordon Hayward,
Gordon Hayward was
Gordon
like
Hayward
the
was
originator
real
of
bad.
the replay
like
compound
his
fracture.
ankle was just like the wrong way.
Oh.
They didn't even mean to do it. They were just like, oh, his ankle.
Isn't it crazy that the NBA
Wrong
has
way.
way more highlights on that than the NFL?
Yeah.
Yes, and Dak Prescott's was pretty bad with his ankle.
It was,
when that
yeah.
happened
Yeah.
because you could see the bone protruding through the socket. Anyways,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's stop talking about
Yeah.
this.
Let's talk. Let's allow Miguel to rip the Chargers. The Chargers now.
Yeah, okay.
They lose to the Titans. Titans went and got turf on their field for the first time, and I thought it was interesting. So Justin Herbert. I'm going to read some stats, and then we can talk about all of this. So Justin Herbert in his last 4 games, 1,130 yards, 7 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's a 5-game streak, and 65.9% completion. However, he is 0 for 6 in terms of scoring in the fourth quarter in which they are either tied or losing. So he is not clutch, especially this season. And I think that both of those should be taken at the same time. Because now what we're looking at is a Chargers team that keeps doing this every single week. They're going to be excited. We just talked about it last week. It's the same thing. And they're 0-2. And Brandon Staley, I would say, probably all of a sudden that seat got a little bit warmer there. Brandon Staley's starting to clap back at reporters and everything. What do you guys think?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
Week 2 overreaction, Peter. My gosh. Every single week is week 2. Herbert can find a way.
Let's go all the way to last year,
Yeah,
especially during the
But
play.
no, you're right. You're right. He's lacking a bit of that clutch gene for sure. I think there's still definitely time for him to turn around. He's a smart football player. We're seeing Joe Burrow struggle like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Cap
crazy
is
to even
re-aggravated, yeah.
it's crazy to even be slandering Justin Herbert right now when the highest paid quarterback in the league didn't even score a touchdown.
Well, and I think, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot of negative Herbert talk here in a second from Miguel. But I also think in all of these games, he's scoring. The offense is scoring
Yeah.
and scoring and scoring, And not very often when we talk about Chargers do we talk about the defense that's allowing teams to score more than them, when they are probably one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL up to this point, I would argue. And historically, when they've had Herbert, they are one of the highest scoring teams, yet they allow other teams to beat them.
Like, why are
and
they
that,
even
he
in
has
it?
no control over that.
This is my problem. I am not denying the fact that Herbert cannot do it by himself. I understand. It's a team sport. You need the other side to perform for you, right? But the same way that I speak about Josh Allen is the same way that I have to talk about Justin Herbert, because you are placing the top half of quarterbacks versus the ones that the Sam Howells that we don't give a shit about. Justin Herbert is an elite quarterback. The way he's talked about, the way that he is being presented to us fans, to us average Joes. He's exactly who I've been saying he is. He is going to be celebrated for these individual stats, but he doesn't win a fucking thing. He doesn't win a thing. He has, on paper, a really good fucking team. But at some point, if you are that guy, if you're fucking Tom Brady and if you're Dan Marino, you better fucking find a way.
But Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl.
Bad example. Tom Brady.
No, but I think you
Peyton
could.
Manning.
I think you could throw Peyton. That's what I was going to say. I think
Peyton
Peyton's
Manning.
in there.
Yeah.
Like, you better find a way. With everything lacking around you, if you're the guy that they're paying $200-something million a year, you better fucking find a way. You're the guy. You're Dame for this team.
For sure, but wouldn't you say Peyton was kind of in Herbert's shoes a little bit before he got his Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's not. I'm not saying it's too
he
late
was
for
an elite
Herbert.
quarterback, regular season champ. I mean, nobody was a better quarterback than Peyton Manning in the regular season, and he just never could get that win.
Yeah.
I mean, it took him a long time.
Honestly, this whole thing could change when we're talking about Herbert next year, 2 years, 3 years from now. When he
Yeah.
has a Super Bowl under his belt, I'll change my fucking tone. But right now, he's exactly who I've been saying he is until he wins a fucking Super Bowl. Because I'm not talking about Joe Burrow the same way that I'm talking about Herbert, because I've seen Burrow go. I've seen him get to where Justin Herbert hasn't gone before he got paid. I've seen Lamar Jackson win an MVP and make it there. I've seen Jalen Hurts make it to the game. I've not seen Herbert be there, and I feel like him and Josh Allen, they've been talked about as the guys who they see in that game, and they haven't made it there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously concerned about the defensive side of the ball because the offense is doing a whole lot of things.
Yes.
But I am also concerned about the clutchness, at least right now, that we're seeing from Justin Herbert, because he's all there, and then but the 2023 stats are not the greatest. Again, we're 2 weeks in.
Well,
Do we overreact? But I mean, it's like
losing Eckler though for some time.
Yeah.
The game is going to change in the red zone. You can't just depend on handing it off to Eckler next week.
Yeah.
You're going to have to maybe make that.
Yeah, make some tight
Well, maybe
passes.
they
Make
should
some
have
type
given it to
passes.
Joshua Kelly, who I picked up on frickin' waivers, and he
Yeah.
scores 3 points.
Why are you on waivers? You had an A+ draft, Peter,
I did have an A+ draft.
and you're already on waivers.
You know what? I had Brian frickin' Robinson on my bench.
He is always in there.
Brian Robinson scoring 29 points and almost have any running back.
You
in week
idiot.
2 on my
Everybody knew
bench.
that Brian
I
Robinson was gonna
guarantee
go
you,
off.
before the Monday night game was over, Peter searching for Jerome Ford and Matt Breda on the fucking waivers. Where do I
Justice
rank?
Hill still
What's
available?
happening?
Oh my gosh! Oh, a couple of things that I did want to before we get into our next week's picks and college football. Did you guys see that the betting sports books got? I think it was FanDuel. FanDuel got hammered for like $20 million because everyone was betting on the yes for a kickoff out, like a touchback for every opening kickoff. And the odds were just insane. So you would put like $10 on it and it would pay just an astronomical amount.
Yeah,
They
like
lost
plus
over-
10,000.
Yeah, they lost like $20 million on that parlay
I
by
like-
allowing that.
I like to take some credit for what's been happening with betting recently, because I'm such a fucking degenerate. I play around with all kinds of shit. Yeah. 2 years ago, we started this alternate spread parlay where we parlay 16 fucking games at an insane spread, right?
Yes.
there has been this trend happening where they are parlaying no safety for 16 legs, and each game is sitting at minus 8,000. So they just tag them all together.
You mean plus 8,000, right?
No, minus 8,000.
No safety.
No
in a
safety.
game.
Like it's highly unlikely. So it's minus 8,000 times 16, no safety, and it ends at like minus 145. And people are just putting $500 on there, making a quick 300 at no safety for 16 legs.
That's a good bet, though.
I'm
That's
saying
a
I
good
might
bet.
have to do it next week.
But
I'm
why
on
are
it.
they even offering these props?
Because they're fucking.
Because they don't
because they
expect-
know people like us exist, man.
Yeah. No, that's it's definitely true, but it's a losing bet. Didn't they? And I know this is going back to old news, but didn't they refund all the bets from the Aaron Rodgers?
They
game?
did.
And they refunded Jamal
Nick
Williams
Chubb.
and Nick Chubb.
And they refunded that too.
yeah.
He did.
And Jamal Williams isn't
If-
even out for the season. They refunded
I think
him.
that the caveat was if that was the last thing on like a losing parlay. So it wasn't just like a individual
Straight up
bet.
bet.
Yeah,
It
straight
wasn't
up
just
bet.
a straight up bet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they would
then
just
they-
like
they would
take
just
that
pay
part
you
off
out
and then
for
pay
the-
out the other.
But
The two other
Yeah,
legs.
change the odds back to what it was with that.
think about it. If you're running a sports book, you're going to have week after week people seeing this whole no safety thing, and they'll keep betting it. It only takes one for you to make all your fucking money back, because they're not at minus 145. People aren't put $10. They're not placing $10 on it. They're placing a big chunk on that to make a good profit. So imagine hitting. There's one safety that fucking happens, and it kills all
Yeah.
the bettors
All
and
the
the sports
dominoes
book
go
wins.
down.
This whole betting yes for a touchback on every single kickoff makes me feel like I missed the boat like on all like the shit coins for
The Doge.
for
Like,
crypto.
the
Yeah,
Doge.
it was just kind of like, why didn't I think of that?
A buddy-
because that always happens.
A buddy
Like,
almost
literally always
convinced me when
happens.
Bitcoin was at 200. I literally had like no money to my name at all. He almost convinced me to buy 3 Bitcoins. They were $200 a piece, and I really thought about doing it. A year and a half later, it's worth like $32,000 a piece.
Yeah,
No, but I know exactly what you mean. It's
you
like
just
I
go
missed the
kinda,
boat.
"Well,
Yeah.
I should have thought about
I
that.
missed the boat.
One
It's not too late for Sheba, boys. I'm in it. I'm in the Sheba.
Let's see. A bettor for DraftKings cashed a $5 bet that paid out $71,000 in a parlay that had Tony Jones for 2+ touchdowns at plus 20,000 and Jerome Ford with the most rushing yards at plus 7,000. If that's not someone who saw the script in advance or like time travel,
Insider info.
that's insane.
Well, it's also-
why would you do that with those two people? I didn't even know those people existed.
I would hate to see what his losses are on all the other stupid bets. he plays.
Jeez.
That
But
might
like he
he just-
says, one bet
yeah.
pays
Yeah.
that shit back.
71 grand is nice.
Yeah.
Someone bet that Browns running back Jerome Ford. Someone bet him. It wasn't even on. It was a Cleveland's 10th series for Jerome Ford to score a touchdown. If you talk about obscure fucking bets, the 10th fucking offensive series for the backup running back to score a touchdown.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
That's just degenerate behavior.
But in my opinion, that means you bet everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
bet every bet
That's
there is in the
degenerate
book, yeah.
behavior.
Yeah.
You bet every other guy to just score on the first through
Yeah.
10th series. You know what I mean?
That means you've literally bet everything.
Yeah.
there was.
Who are these idiots?
yeah. Not Miguel.
Let's take a look at the college football slate for this week. We have. Do you think that Florida State Clemson's going to be a good game? It's not. Clemson's unranked. They're 2-1. They are at home.
Florida State's gonna wipe the floor
They're
with Clemson.
only a 2-point favorite.
They just won at Boston College, an unranked team, 31-29. Boston College almost ran them out. I mean, it was the red bandana game. I get it. There's a lot of meaning behind it, but Florida State kind of got exposed, in my opinion, last week.
I think they.
I think they definitely
run
beat
through
Clemson, though.
2-point favorite
Yeah.
of Florida State.
Florida
It's not
State
that
strikes
big.
me as a First of all, they were marked as a sleeper going into the season, and then they beat LSU, first game of the fucking season. They strike me as a type of team that shows up in big games and plays to the level of their opponents, which is why that game was close. I feel like they're gonna ruin Clemson.
Last week really affected my opinion on them. I'm going Clemson in that one.
I like.
I'm going
FSU.
Clemson on a spread. I think it's like 10 points.
Another 20. Another 20.
Wait, is it FSU minus 10?
No, minus
minus
2.
FSU -2.
Yeah.
I'll take FSU -2 for 20. Oh, fucking betting, man.
Really?
I thought that's what the show was about.
I know. I'm saying we don't fucking bet enough. Honestly, these guys are fucking.
Shut up.
He just puts his
We
hand
bet,
out.
we bet with you every week.
all the time.
Yeah, and you guys have had some gruesome punishments. If you guys haven't seen that, go back into the YouTube catalog.
What do you think was the worst?
The worst one?
Yeah, which one would you not want?
The shit.
The shit bucket?
Yeah, that one
Shit
was.
bucket was bad. I ate cat food. I got my eyebrow waxed.
The raw balut.
Yeah, raw-balut. That was bad.
Eyebrow wax for sure.
You don't want
That's
to do
the
eyebrow
worst?
wax?
Well, because we still have to. This is all fun and games. We still have to go out in the world. And I'm not the most secure guy in the world. I would be. I feel
And you
like
don't wear
everyone-
glasses. I wore glasses, so at least they
Oh,
would
so
cover it up
listen,
a little
dude,
bit.
if I had to shave my eyebrows, I'd rather eat shit. I would rather.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Braxton is taking the worst of the punishments, but you're a fashion guy.
Yeah.
So you would see the eyebrows as like, fuck that. I'm
The
not
only
doing
thing
that.
I have is this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see
the
why
money
you would see
maker.
that as well. But Braxton has done the balut, which was terrible. 'cause
Yeah, that was
raw.
bad.
He is. What is another bad thing that you did? Did you have to suck the fucking whipped cream off my toe?
Off of
Yeah,
Jordan.
I
or
also had to
something.
do the hand in the shit. I did that the first time, and I was so mad that I made you do it the next
I
time.
think what Peter. I think Mr. Producer, Mr. Editor here. I think you're gonna have to do a mashup of these punishments moving forward.
Yeah.
I think you should have a TikTok where it's just a
That
a
would be
mashup of
fun.
all
That would
of
actually
the
be a
punishments.
That would be
all
very
the
funny.
punishments. I
Yeah.
could probably arrange that.
Because we did try to video almost all of them.
Yeah, we have them. We have them around. That is
Yes,
for sure.
yes.
Because
But
it wasn't
yes.
on video for a long time. You guys
Well,
had a
we
lot-
actually have all the punishments on video that was never broadcasted. We have
Yeah,
them.
we
We
do
have
have
them in
a
our
lot.
phones.
That's
Yeah.
a good season finale.
Yeah.
Just all
Just
the punishments.
at the end of the
we,
last
we do
episode,
need
you
to
just
at
finish
least
it off with all
put
of the
those
punishments.
into like a library, like send them all to Pete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should be able to go back
I
in
mean,
the catalog.
all of that on TikTok would probably get a lot of views.
It is pretty funny because my sister, who had heard the podcast last week, was like, "You're not actually thinking about getting a Brazilian wax, are you?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know." Like, she was like,
Why not?
She was like, "Peter, you are a bitch." And then she was like, "Do you remember when you got your eyebrow waxed? It would sound like that." I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're right." I don't have the exact timing on this, but I think that this was right around when it happened.
Actually, all of the holidays are coming up.
no! Oh no!
Peter, I need you to count. I like how you keep shushing
One.
you.
Oh no!
Oh my god.
the oh no is like my favorite thing about that whole clip. And how like the fear just turned into straight hysteria, right?
The
Like,
scream was fucking scary.
At one point, I was filming on my phone, and he looks directly into the phone, and he has his hand on his eyebrow, and he goes, "Oh no, what are we gonna do?" We're not gonna do anything.
Oh no! What did
But-
we just do?
What did we just?
but it is really cool. One thing I do like about this podcast, especially you guys were a little bit, and I got to be honest, as a longtime listener, season 1 listener, I think you guys got to start getting a little bit more mean to each other.
We got to get edgy
When-
again.
when-
We got to
not
start
on the-
trying to kill each other again.
Not on the takes.
Can't do that.
But the punishments were really good, and a lot of podcasts do gimmicks, and a lot of these things, and you guys actually followed through with
You're
some of
pro
the most
gimmick. You're pro punishment.
the most ridiculous punishments. I would
You know,
put.
and-
I would
and
put
honestly-
Bring 'em back.
And one thing that I will
Just for
say,
fun.
Yeah.
I will say that when we got rid of the punishments, we all agreed that we would be like, okay, we'll just make them like a more special thing. We'll do longer term bets and really prepare, because that was the thing that happened with the punishments is we stopped being able to come up with ideas.
Oh, yeah.
And we
that's
would
true.
get to the night of, not have anything prepared, and we would just rush around Peter's house, finding the most disgusting things that we could find.
You want to eat cinnamon again?
Yeah. And we're like, oh, we'll just do this again. We have mouse traps. We have a shock
Yeah.
collar, you know. And so we
I have
all
a nail gun here. Hold out your
we
hand.
all agreed that we would continue to do them just in a different way, and we haven't talked about it since.
You have
The
been
early,
dieting all
those
the time,
early
so.
episodes were great.
Yeah, good times.
But I'm not saying the later
The
episodes aren't
wild,
great.
Wild West.
But I think that coming up soon here, maybe on one of these college picks,
Bring
it doesn't have to be the worst punishment ever. Just
Yeah.
something small.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we can
And
do
I,
a punishment.
and I,
We can
I
dip-
will,
we
I
can
will
dip our toe
partake,
back into it.
even if I have to film it and send it in for the show. If I end up being the one punished,
Like it could be like we do these locks in the NFL every week. Whoever ruins the parlay, we don't all ruin it, but like we go 2 for 3. The person that ruins it gets punished.
Sure. Yeah, I could get
Yeah, we
behind
can
that.
talk about it.
We're in beta.
We're in beta. We're in beta.
Yeah.
We're in beta.
it's gonna be the pinky bet.
No,
It just
nobody's chopping off their
yeah,
pinkies.
the pinky bet.
Back to the college football.
Yeah.
before
Sorry,
we get to the
sorry,
NFL. We have UCLA Utah. That's a top 25 matchup. 22 UCLA, 11 Utah. The Utes a 4.5-point home favorite on that. Any grand thoughts there?
I don't know, until Rising plays, I'm not excited.
Yeah,
about
I'm
Utah.
the same way. It's like I'm just unsure. They seem to be doing well
Yeah.
regardless. I do-
Quarterback's good, but
yeah,
it's
the
not
backup
Utah
is
we
good.
were expecting.
But I just think Utah without Rising is a 50-50 team when I'm looking at bets, especially that close of a spread.
Alabama, a 7-point home favorite to Ole Miss. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, you think that
Ex-Saban assistant.
Saban loses to another former assistant?
No way. Alabama regroups this week, gets the win. I don't think it's going to be a huge win, but I think that Saban's going to pull out the win there this week.
I agree.
I
think,
agree. It's going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
But we are in the season of Alabama that if they lose, none of us are shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if they lose to Ole Miss, it's like, oh yeah, it's a mediocre Alabama.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that they win this game.
I think that, he's not going to lose
It's
to
going to be a
another system.
shootout. I think it'll be a shootout, but they're going to win this game.
I think that the Oregon State-Washington State game
That's
is going to be
a
very
great
good.
fucking
Yeah.
game.
One of the
Yeah.
best games of the week.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
That's gonna be a
Oregon
good
State, a
What time?
3-point road favorite over Washington State that has a very good offense.
So really a 6-point favorite.
I know this is going to sound very anti-Duck and pro-Beaver, but people are saying that this Oregon State team has the chance to match that
The
2000
Fiesta
team.
Bowl.
That Jonathan Smith, TJ Houshmandzadeh, Chad Johnson, Ken Simonton team. This team on both sides of the ball,
They're good.
really fucking good.
They're good.
Damian Martinez is the real deal.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and I don't think that's anti-Duck. at
Oregon
all.
State is, I know I'm not with your picks. This is my own solo pick. Oregon State is actually my lock of the week for college football. I think Oregon State is my pick, my mortal lock.
What's the spread on that?
3 points
Away.
road favorites.
So it's in Martin Stadium in Pullman, and
Yeah.
Oregon State are
Our
its
favorite by 3.
Yeah. Washington State likes to ruin dances. They are a very
Yeah.
dangerous team.
Well, it's also just
especially at home.
it's a bullshit place to have to drive to.
Pullman.
Dude, it's so out there.
I've had a lot of great times in Pullman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
but
had a
very
lot of
pretty
great
at
But
this
your
time of
football
year.
team can get bored and antsy on that bus ride. You don't fly in.
Yeah.
They're driving from Corvallis.
Well, they might fly into Spokane, but
That's true.
either way. But, I mean, I think you're right. That's a kind of a
That's gonna
weird
be a
place to
fun
play
game.
Yeah.
sometimes. It's a
It's
weird
going to be a
place to
fun
play.
game, though, especially with like the Pac-12 stuff. Like they're going to be one of the remaining 2 teams, or I guess there's 4 teams that will remain. But they're one of the last few standing of the Pac-12.
Imagine in our degenerate betting mind that these guys are also degenerates, the Cougs and the Beavs. And during the coin toss, they go, "You want to bet all that money left in the Pac-12 for this fucking game?
Well,
$220 million dollars."
We're coming into what is this week 4 college football? Is every Pac-12 game, no matter who it's against, no matter if they're ranked, is every game a rivalry game in the last year of the Pac-12?
Pretty much, besides the ones
Like they all matter.
involving the Arizona schools, probably.
Oregon State, that's my
Unfortunately.
lock for the week. I'm taking
Yeah.
Oregon State.
Or Cal or
I'm
Stanford.
with you on that, so I can't
Yeah.
bet.
Ohio State, Notre Dame. That is college game day. Ohio State, a 3-point favorite there.
I'm not betting against Marvin Harrison Jr. That guy's balling the fuck out.
Yeah. Best receiver in college in a
But
while.
Notre Dame, you could ask probably any hardcore Domer fan. Marcus Freeman is a fucking hero already with how much they all hated Brian Kelly. I mean, they loved that coach.
Yeah.
And he's doing well.
Yeah.
I do think now that I see who Iowa is playing a week after Ferentz decides to pat himself on the back, he gets Penn State.
Oh, jeez.
Where?
At Penn State.
Yeah, good luck, buddy.
It is Penn State minus 14.5 against number 24.
I think they
Iowa.
cover that.
Iowa State's a really good defensive team, but you don't play Penn State.
And that is
whiteout
a night game.
Yeah.
So it's a whiteout
it a
game.
whiteout?
It's a whiteout game.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah,
beating
You're
Penn
not
State.
doing
so.
that. So, and then obviously we have
And it's James Franklin and Penn State, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we just got their defensive coordinator at Virginia Tech as to be the head coach. They have not lost a beat on defense. They are still incredibly good. That's not even going to be close.
Yeah.
Then we let's see. Then we have the Oregon and Colorado.
That's the biggest one. That's a wedding day game.
Wedding
baby.
day game. We're going to be
Wedding
getting
day
our
game.
suits on, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Now it is time for our locks of the week. Since you guys are so, let's
You think Braxton has an Oregon
dialed
hoodie
in
underneath
on
the fucking tux just
Dude,
to
you-
support the
You have to at least wear a tank top underneath everything.
No, a hat.
all right, quick.
The Oregon hat with the fucking tux. All right, Maddie,
Yeah.
you got to come up with a lock.
All right, so my lock of the week, I am going to take the Miami Dolphins at minus 6.5 over the Denver
Mark it.
Broncos. And the Broncos, they had a heartbreaking loss to the Commanders over the weekend in week 2. But it just kind of seems like there's still a little bit of disconnect between Sean Payton and good old Russell Wilson.
What's the spread on that?
Miami playing at home is 6.5 points is that spread. Miami playing at home, they're looking great. That's my lock at minus 6.5.
Miguel's going to hate me for mine, but I'm going back to my boy Josh Allen. And the Bills play the Commanders, and they are 6.5-point favorites. And I'm riding.
Wow.
I
You would.
think the Commanders are
Man.
coming off a high, getting that win last week, and I think that they are not going to be prepared for a team like the Bills.
high, or do they look good?
No.
That's been 2 highs in a row both weeks. The Commanders are pulling out these wins. I don't think they're getting lucky.
Well, I think the Bills are going to handle them just fine.
All right.
All right.
There you go.
What's the odds sitting on your first 2 picks?
Odds after the first 2 picks are plus 258.
Oh, we're good in good plus money, baby. Matty Ice, what you got?
So I'm going to go with, to me, which is one of the most interesting games of the week. And it's going to be the Chargers and the Vikings, both 0-2.
no.
This spread, according to ESPN, is even. There's not even a spread
So
difference.
on DraftKings,
DraftKings has it -1 in favor of the Vikings.
So -1. So I will take the Vikings.
-1.
Yeah.
These are all very scary
Yeah,
bets.
they are very scary. I was scared about
me,
the Bills.
To me, that's the most interesting game of the week. Both 0-2.
It's gonna be a prove it game.
Neither team has a win.
Loser
Somebody's
leaves
gotta come.
town.
I'm cutting
Loser
your
leaves
I'm
town.
cutting your
I-
finger off.
here's-
This is bad.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. We're not pros. We don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah.
But there's 3 so far before mine. One sounds like a lock for the segment called Lock of the Week. The Dolphins sound like a lock.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The Vikings and the Bills does not sound. I'm not trying to sway
Okay.
your bet, but
It
does
was
not
between
sound
that
like a
or
lock.
the Ravens -7.5 over the Colts, and I thought I'll take the
Well,
minus.
to be honest, to keep the show interesting, I was before
I'm okay
Braxton.
We
with
don't
It's
want
gambling.
interesting. We want locks.
It's gambling. It's fine.
Before Braxton made his bet, I was going to go Commanders to go 3-0 on the 6.5 spread. I thought that was going to be my pick, but I wanted to keep it interesting, and that 0-2 game is
I'm not trying to sway you. You're a gambler like I am.
yeah.
The Vikings sit. That's fine.
Yeah.
yeah. You should change.
Okay.
Or do whatever you want. No. We can't
No.
do it. We can't change
Well,
it now
if
because
it-
if yours
it's been
fits
said.
and this
It's
other
been
one
If
doesn't.
we're taking a 0-2 Chargers and Vikings, they're both due for a win. I'm taking the Vikings over an Eckler-less Chargers.
Me too.
So I get
Yeah.
it. So, Josh Allen, we'll see.
Yeah, don't change
What's
it.
your pick?
We can't change it now because
What's your pick?
I'm between two.
What?
Ferns?
The Jags covering against the Texans.
What
I
is
was
that, 10?
It's 10 on Yahoo. I don't know what is it sitting at there?
It is. Where are you? Hello. It is 9.5.
And what's the Ravens against the Colts?
Ravens
6.5.
is 6.5. No, 7.5. 7.5 for the Ravens Colts.
I'm going Jaguars.
9.5.
I'm going Jaguars to beat the Texans at 9.5.
Is it in Duval?
Gosh.
It's in Jacksonville.
You guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the four
The
picks?
pool's
sitting
going to be full.
4 picks are the Dolphins minus 6.5 over the Broncos, the Buffalo Bills minus 6.5 over the Commanders, the Jags over the Texans minus 9.5, and -1 for the Vikings over the Chargers.
And what's
4 picks at plus 12.05.
And we got 10 each.
$40 gets you $522.
Let's fucking
Dude,
do
let's
it.
ride, boys. Let's ride, boys.
Ride.
Let's go.
I've never felt more alive.
Oh God.
The Jaguars. And you were getting mad at me.
I bet you
Christ.
side bet Jaguars
You
cover.
Stop.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you guys for the live show during Braxton's wedding this weekend.
Oh, God.
That'll be great.
Meet us at hole 11 at Illy.
You do
for
think
a live show.
Okay, so you thought this was a bad idea. You don't want to do the hi, I'm Peter and this is my first drink. Hi, I'm Peter and this is my last drink. I think that would be fucking hilarious as a bit.
You know what? Do what you want to do.
Okay, there you go.
Do what you want to do.
I'm gonna
I don't
do it.
understand. I don't
Because-
understand what.
Have you not seen this bit
It's
where
a
you
trend.
It's a trend online where you have everyone in your group or whatever. You're like, "Hi, I'm Peter. This is my first drink," and then it's like, "I'm Peter.
Oh,
this
at the
is my
wedding.
last
Oh,
drink."
no, yeah.
Yeah,
Get that.
it's like you're just like
I
hammered.
think the
it'd be
concept at the
hilarious.
beginning of the night is very fun and funny, and then at the end of the night is kind of sad.
Yeah, well, I just don't know if I could pull it off. We need one of the
That's such a
pregnant women
media
to do
thing.
It's such a
Shut
media
up.
thing.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Just teen media over here. I don't. No, I think it would be funny.
And we need the
I
one of the
don't think
pregnant
that you're
women
the
to do
one.
it.
You're not the vehicle to carry it out. You're the vehicle to make sure that it's captured.
Yes.
Because you're a media guy. And I think that
You need to delegate.
We need to find someone to do this
We
with.
have 2
And I'm
pregnant
gonna-
women. 2 pregnant
Well,
women.
I'm going to nominate someone on the podcast now, and hopefully he'll listen. Maybe he won't. I think it's going to be Riley. Riley, we're going to go first drink, last drink on Riley.
Yeah,
He's
the one.
Yeah.
He's the one for sure. Oh yeah, yeah. Riley's
Can
the
I
one
say
we
my
could
vote?
What is it?
Austin Cuellar.
Oh, yeah.
He'll do a great job.
Well, he's fresh
I'm
off the
saying-
haircut.
Yeah,
First
yeah.
and last drink,
So-
probably the best guy I could
Yeah,
think of
yeah.
for
Yeah,
this.
you're right.
Amar would be
I'm,
good
I'm
too,
back
but-
in.
Yes.
He's back
Yeah,
in. All
yeah.
right. See,
Amar
it's a
would be
funny
good.
bit. I knew that you.
I think
peer
Cuellar
pressure
would be
into
good.
that.
Yeah. Amar would be good. Cuellar. But yeah,
It's gonna be a great time.
I got to make a new album cover. I hope somebody's got to have a iconic picture.
We'll find one.
So
But-
so excited to share this day with you, Braxton.
Yeah, I am too. So fucking.
Next
fun.
episode, you're a married man.
Yeah,
You're gonna
ever
be
heard of
Mr.
it?
Papinga.
Damn.
I know.
Hopefully
Yeah.
she got that. Hopefully you got that prenup because this shit's gonna blow soon.
Yeah, just right around the corner.
We got prenup.
Really, this podcast is around to document our life events for the last 3 or 4 years. That's
Yeah,
it. That's
I know
what
I've
it
said
is.
this before, but I have always wondered at what age or what point in my kid's life will I be willing to show them this?
It's gonna be when you find weed in the drawer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I roll a joint. And say, okay, sit down. son."
You've been holding out.
Yeah. Let me tell you.
All right. Is that it?
That's it.
That's it. Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you,
Thanks for
Matt.
having
me. Yeah.
Yeah, you were a great addition.
Hey, thanks.
Great.
Round of applause
Appreciate
for
it.
Matthew.
Let's go Hokies.
You didn't derail the podcast like most other guests.
I know,
You-
yeah.
it's like
You were an
you're a
active
natural.
I'm
You've
media.
done
It's
this before.
kind of like you've done this before.
I'm media trained.
Yeah.
I went to the same college as Peter. We're media guys.
Yeah.
Big
perfect.
media guy.
Perfect.
Yeah, I got my degree in media.
The big,
Ever heard of
Big J.
bachelors and
the big J.
Big J journalist.
Big J.
All right, clear eyes.
Can't lose.
Let's go.